Hello everyone, thanks for joining me once again. For those of you who don't know, my name is Audra. Today I am working on a time lapse of two of my fungi creatures embracing each other as they hang upside down on two ferns. And this video is going to be a long one, so I thought we could chit-chat about things that have been going on lately in my life, and you guys can leave some comments about what's been going on with yours. So yesterday was my husband's birthday, and he requested that I make him a marble cake. And so I got up early yesterday and made his cake while my 2-year-old son was eating his breakfast. I went to make it, and it made way more cake than 3 people are going to be able to eat before it goes bad. The recipe ended up making 4 large bread loaf sized cakes, and so I decided to give half of them to my sister. So I gotta get those ready to bring over there, and then I'm also going to probably go in the garden. I have a few leeks, a whole roll of leeks actually, not just a few, that I need to use up here soon before the weather gets too cold and they just go to waste. So I'm going to dig up some of those for her and bring them over. It's actually a real pity. I had a bunch of pepper plants too that were ready, but we ended up getting some frost sooner than I thought we were going to, and it ended up killing all the plants, and all the peppers that were on there are completely destroyed and unusable now. I was going to try to winterize them because I saw a YouTube video of that's possible, but I don't even think I could have been able to do it anyways, because I don't really have a place to put it. We have a really small old house, and there are very few places that get a decent amount of light that my son can't get to and completely destroy it. And one of our cats has a tendency to be notorious for eating any plant that he sees in sight. So it normally wouldn't be an issue because last winter I had started all of the seeds for our garden down in the basement, and I had a dedicated area where I just had basically those folding tables that you can get at Walmart, and I just stacked one on top of the other one and hung grow lights above them, and I was able to grow trays upon trays of plants so that I could put them into the garden, and it was a lot cheaper that way. We had a really big garden, but I no longer have that option anymore because the outlet that I was using to plug these grow lights in is no longer working anymore. We had to turn off the switch to it, to this outlet, because we found out that there was a live wire on the outside of our house. To go into further detail, this summer, around, I want to say midsummer, we had a bunch of flea beetles that attacked a third of the garden and completely killed most of those plants within a day. And so in order to keep that issue from destroying the rest of the plants in the garden, my husband and I had went out and we bought a little pump sprayer, and we filled it up with, I forget what the solution was. It was some organic solution, some oil and water and maybe some soap or something. And then you were supposed to spray that on the plant's leaves, and it would kill the bugs that were on there, and it would also keep all the other beetles from attacking more plants. But by the time we ended up getting it, most of the plants were dead, and it didn't really make a huge difference. But anyway, so we had this sprayer, and this past month and a half, we have been getting really, really bad box elder bugs. If you don't know what box elder bugs, I'll put a photo up for you. Basically, just sometimes around in the fall time, these bugs like to just sit on the walls of your house. And since we have this really old house, they're getting inside. And for a while there, I was killing up to about 100 a day inside the house. And so I had to talk to my husband, and I'm like, what can we do to lessen this? Because this is getting to be really ridiculous. Well, I looked it up, and you can do a solution of 1-to-1 or 1-to-2 of soap and water. Make a really, really sudsy, soapy water solution. And then you can just use a sprayer and spray your walls outside, and it kills them almost instantly. And so I did that, and I was spraying our walls, and sure enough, I mean, they were dropping like crazy, as they were supposed to. And I went to the front of the house, and I was spraying the walls, and all of a sudden, the bottom part of the foundation started spitting sparks and putting off smoke and all kinds of stuff. And so naturally, I look into it, and we had apparently some live wire sticking out of our foundation that we had no clue was there. And I knew exactly what it was from. We had this old-timey yard light that you see sometimes in front of houses. I can put a picture of it if I can find it somewhere. But anyway, we had this old light, and we had no idea where the switch was for it in the house at all, and it was broken and whatnot. And so one day when I was working in the front yard, I just got sick of it, and I decided I was going to rip it out of the ground. Sorry, I'm going all over the place with this. I promise it will all come together. But anyway, I decided to rip this light out of the ground. And first I had to figure out where the wire was, so I'm not electrocuting myself or anything. We tried to turn off the power to anything that we thought it'd probably be connected to. So I went digging carefully for the wire that the power would run to make it work. And I found it, and it was only a couple inches at most under the dirt, which is super dangerous, by the way. There were some places that it was barely an inch. So I got this wire out of the ground, and I found the end of it like 3 or 4 feet away from the house, and it was cut. So I'm like, okay, it's not even attached, which is fantastic. Then I don't have to deal with that. And so I dug around the light, and it was just basically set in there with this big ball of concrete to keep it stuck. So we took that out, rolled it out of there, and put it in a pile that eventually will go to the dump. And we didn't see any other wire attached to it, so we're like, okay, they must have dealt with it. Well, fast forward to back when I was spraying for these box elder bugs, that's exactly where that wire would have attached to the house. So it was still live. After all these years, people went and they snipped the wire, but they went and they turned the power back on to it. So for about 2 years now, since we've lived in this house, there's been a live wire in the front of our house in the foundation, which is really scary because every single one of us, my husband, I, and my son, have all been up at the front of the house near that spot where that live wire was, and we were working on something, or my son was playing over there. So the fact that nothing happened to us is pretty amazing. It's just a flat-out miracle. But yeah, so going back to winterizing my pepper plants, the reason I can't do it is because that wire that was also attached to that light in the front of the house apparently was also somehow connected to this outlet that we have down in the basement that I was using to power the growing lights to grow our seeds for the garden. So now I have no idea what I'm going to do next year for starting seeds. No idea where I'm going to put it, and my plants are dead. So that's been, that was a fun discovery here lately. So yeah, like I said, this house is very old. A lot of work needs to be done on it, and a lot of sketchy things were done and left alone. And I can't believe this house hasn't burned down. When we ended up getting the house, my grandpa had gone into the basement and had looked at the wiring right before we moved in because I had just had my son and he wasn't even a couple weeks old. And so we went into the basement to check to see how things were looking and the wiring situation. We knew it was a mess when we bought it. And so my grandpa went down there to fix some of it because he had done the wiring in his house when he built it. And everything down in the basement was attached by extension cords, which is awful. Don't do that. Please don't do that. And so he did a lot of rewiring some of the stuff, but he ended up passing away here not too long ago because he found out he had colon cancer, and not too long after he found out he had passed away, and so he never did finish working on the wiring in the basement. So things are still kind of sketchy down there. It's a little bit terrifying. So yeah, we have that to figure out along with so many other things. We have literal cracks in our wall that are about an inch across and span across almost the whole room, along with so many other issues that this house has. But those are just a couple. I mean, it's nice to have a place to live. I'm not complaining, but it's a lot. Let's see. What else has been going on? Oh yeah. So this past weekend, we found out while I was trying to do laundry that our dryer stopped working properly. For some reason, like the side of it, like the drum or whatever it's called, it was like rubbing on something. At least that's kind of what it felt like. It wasn't spinning the way it should. So we have tons and tons of this kid fencing that we have left over because when my son was younger, we had bought him those ball pit balls. He could jump in at it, like used to at like McDonald's or Burger King or whatever. The little ball pit that it came with got used so much that it was starting to fall apart and it was getting super dangerous. And he was only one at the time, and so I wanted to get him something that he could put the balls in that wasn't going to break so easily, and that also eventually as he got older, if we wanted to add more balls to the pit, then he could like bury himself in them if he wanted to or whatever. So we bought a whole bunch of extra kid fencing to put in the corner of our living room so we could do that, and I had to pull him out this past weekend because of the fact that I just did a load of laundry in the washer and I had nowhere else to dry them. And it's starting to get cold outside, and it was like really rainy and gross out the day that I found this out. Plus, we don't have a clothesline in our yard, so I don't have anywhere to hang them outside even if I wanted to. And because of that, I decided I was going to take the kid fencing and zigzag it in our living room and just hang all the clothes on that. So my husband and I took apart the dryer, and we're not entirely sure what the problem is. We think maybe one of the parts just wasn't on correctly, but there's also a couple parts that we probably should just replace anyway. So husband's gonna order those, and then we'll try and put it back together, and hopefully everything works, because I don't want to buy another dryer. What else? What else happened? I feel like there's something else. Oh, and our kitchen sink. Guys, when it rains, it pours. This house is just falling apart. And the people who built it did a very makeshift job. And the repairs that they did were very, very temporary. So our kitchen sink started leaking. So I was doing the dishes this weekend, and after I let out the water out of the sink, I heard a lot of noise underneath, and I was like, okay, that's weird, what's going on? And so I went to go check it, and I have this giant spout of water coming out of the drain, which the job on our drain was, like everything else in this house, very temporary and patched and put together in ways that are technically not supposed to be done. So since this house is so old, we have all this metal piping everywhere. A lot of times when you put new piping in houses, it's plastic. These people, when they decided to update the kitchen back in the 60s or 70s or whatever, they didn't want to put in the effort to replace all of the plumbing to the sink. And because of that, they were trying to makeshift attach this plastic piping to this metal piping, and so they just cut the plastic piping close to where the metal piping ended and took some caulk and sealed it that way. And my husband and I have no experience with fixing any of this stuff. This is our first house, and we don't have the tools and stuff to fix this right away. So we decided to do something similar, and we went to Walmart and just got this bonding stuff that's also kind of a caulk, but it's meant to be bonding piping and whatnot temporarily until we can afford to get the tools and whatnot to fix it properly. So everything was just falling apart this weekend. But at least I have one thing taken care of for a little while until we can get the parts, and then hopefully within a week I'll have a dryer again and I won't have to worry about setting all of our laundry out in the living room where my 2-year-old son can go around and just pull all of the clothes off as I'm trying to dry it. Sorry if my voice is a little scratchy, by the way. I just kind of woke up not too long ago. I recorded part of this earlier yesterday, and then my son woke up and he wouldn't go back down for his nap. So I'm trying to finish this off. Also, as of right now, I'm only halfway through recording the video footage of this time lapse. So I'm not quite sure how long it's going to be. And I already know that I have a couple shots where the camera just kind of turned off, because my camera only records for like half an hour and then it just turns off. And then I have to turn it back on and start recording again. It's really annoying. And when I have the money, I'm going to replace that. But so I'm missing some clips, and sometimes it skips a little bit. So parts of the drawing just kind of appear. Anyway, now I just feel like I'm rambling and saying a whole lot of nothing that anybody would really care about. So I'm going to leave you with some music for the rest of the time lapse. Thank you so much for being here and spending time with me, and I hope you all have a beautiful, wonderful day. Thank you. Bye.
Gasoline on the fire started in me. No one can cancel me. I'm swaying along with the trees. The sun is falling and the water is starting to freeze. That's why I close my eyes when I'm crossing the street. I keep a stack of letters from all my closest friends, so I know they're real, they really love me, 'cause they like to play pretend. Summer hasn't started, but it feels like it's the end, 'cause I think ahead, I like to plan, so I'm never in suspense. I'm pouring gasoline on the fire started in me. No one can cancel me. I'm swaying along with the trees. The sun is falling and the water is starting to freeze. That's why I close my eyes when I'm crossing the street. 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 That's why I close my eyes when I'm crossing the street. I feel like everyone's world is spinning faster than mine. For somebody who hates change, I sure love checking the time. I feel like ending the world would be a victimless crime. For somebody who hates change, I sure love changing my mind. Gasoline on fire started in me. life right now is a movie. Ah, yeah. Wish the soundtrack was groovy. Too bad I'm frustrated, I'm moody. Ah, yeah. Just need a happy ever after. Guess this was kind of fun when it all started going down. Walking around in PJs, nap on the couch, watching TV all day and spending time inside the house. Said it is all gonna be over by the end of May, but here I am, a face mask every day. The way this year is turning out, a Michael Bay cliche. We used to see all this on Netflix, cheesy action flicks. Now you and me are living in it, 'cause life right now is a movie. Ah, yeah. Wish the soundtrack was groovy. Too bad I'm frustrated, I'm moody. Ah, yeah. Just need a happy ever after. Can I speak to the director of life? Think he made a mistake with his design. This was supposed to be a comedy, not an apocalyptic tragedy. Everybody on the set is confused. This used to be fun, no, we're not amused. Casting the crew demand to be removed. Yeah.
Seriously.
We used to see all this on Netflix, cheesy action flicks. Now you and me are living in it, 'cause life right now is a movie. Ah, yeah. Wish the soundtrack was groovy. Too bad I'm frustrated, I'm moody. Ah, yeah. Just need a happy ever after.
Ooh, I saw her in every song, in every wrong. Beautiful to see the world that way. You'll say yes to anything, believe in what they say. Take a walk with your ultraviolets that fill my soul. Your ultraviolet, and every time I know the truth, speaking one way between me and you, and I'm fine on my own. So I wrote this song to serenade the ultraviolets all alone. She knows everything there is to know, and of course she does. Just smile and hush, and in my eyes I fall asleep. Your gracious touch is numbing me. My best dark suit I'll wear for free, looking stylish for make-believe. Ooh, you're so smart with your ultraviolets, broken silence. You're ultraviolet anyway. And every time I know the truth, speaking one way between me and you, and I'm fine on my own. So I wrote this song to serenade the ultraviolets all alone.
Let's
If you only knew how much my head was filled with you, it's why I do the things I do, but I know it's useless. I justify my lies, 'cause if I don't, it makes me cry. Hope life's not a race, 'cause if it is, I think I'll lose. Tried to sing the blues, but it came out tuneless. I jumped down from the sky, but I don't think I wanna die. I know I'm still a child, obsessed over the little things. You know it drives me wild, the way it stings. You're doing laps around my mind. I swear you're working overtime to make me feel like I'm the one obsessed with you. Racing like a Hot Wheel, in love with something that is not real. I think I caught feels, but I'm alone. Been around this track so many times, I think I'm done. Used to find it fun, but now it's ruthless. You'll never hear me brag, I'll never see that checkered flag. I know I'm still a child, obsessed over the little things. You know it drives me wild, the way it stings. You're doing laps around my mind. I swear you're working overtime to make me feel like I'm the one obsessed with you. Racing like a Hot Wheel, in love with something that is not real. I think I caught feels, but I'm alone. No, still a child, enchanted by a diamond ring. You try to make me smile, but that's the thing. You're doing laps around my mind. I swear you're working overtime to make me feel like I'm the one obsessed with you. Racing like a Hot Wheel, in love with something that is not real. I think I caught feels, but I'm alone. Laps around my mind. I swear you're working overtime to make me feel like I'm the one obsessed with you. Racing like a Hot Wheel, in love with something that is not real. I think I caught feels, but I'm alone. Sometimes I watch the clouds, they're begging to be stared at. They say my thoughts aloud, they never used to do that. My dreams smell just like pine, like something once forgotten. They feel just like they're mine, but the wind blows them like cotton. The rivers gave me my blue eyes, the trees inspired me to grow. I feel so young that I could cry. I feel like indigo. We would drive along the hills. I don't think I'll ever forget the way they rolled. It gave me chills that I'm not ready to admit. And we would leap into the lake, and our breath was briefly stolen. We didn't know the splash we'd made, or how our world would soon be swollen. The rivers gave me my blue eyes, the trees inspired me to grow. I feel so young that I could cry. I feel like indigo. Who am I? What should I be? Tell me who do you see? The rivers gave me my blue eyes, the trees inspired me to grow. I feel so old that I could die. I feel like indigo. The rivers gave me my blue eyes, the trees inspired me to grow. I feel so old that I could die. I feel like indigo.
Look at the way your name is written on the sky. Feeling the hours, feeling the rhythm of the moments passing by. Can you hear the music? Can you hear the beat? Can you hear the passion of the fever at your feet? Light of the night, heat of the day. You control it all and make the darkness melt away. Sparks fly when I'm looking back at you. Shots fired, do you feel the same thing too? You say it's a moment, me and you. Like a supernova, you light up the night. It's emotion. It's about the time it all comes back around. Holds the oceans like a tidal wave that keeps you safe and sound. Can you feel the magic? Can you feel the touch? Can you feel the holy universal burst of love? Falling into gravity, living in your galaxy. You don't think you're made of stars, but to me, that's what you are. Sparks fly when I'm looking back at you. Shots fired, do you feel the same thing too? You say it's a moment, me and you. You're my supernova, you light up the night. Light up the night.
years since we last talked, but now you're hitting me up, telling me that it's been too long, and you wanna meet up. You said your favorite coffee shop was just on the block, so we met up for a cup and then went for a walk. But you were on your phone the whole time. What was up with that? 'Cause if you wanted me, talk to me. Don't be hiding behind your screen. I got too much stuff to do for you to be so rude. Said you like real conversation, but you don't know how to make them. Nuh-uh. From my point of view, I don't see how this is fun for you. Said that you had a good time, you wanna do it again. Don't know why I texted back. I guess that I'll see you then. Well, now I'm waiting for you here, yeah. When you call up my phone, say you're sorry you forgot and left me on my own. But you're the one who wanted my time. What is up with that? 'Cause if you wanted me, talk to me. Don't be hiding behind your screen. I got too much stuff to do for you to be so rude. Said you like real conversation, but you don't know how to make them. Nuh-uh. From my point of view, I don't see how this is fun for you. This was so fun, quote by no one. I think we're done anyway. This was so fun, quote by no one. I think we're done anyway. 'Cause if you wanted me, talk to me. Don't be hiding behind your screen. I got too much stuff to do for you to be so rude. Said you like real conversation, but you don't know how to make them. Nuh-uh. From my point of view, well, I don't see how this is fun for you. Tell me, is it fun? Is it fun? Tell me, is it fun, baby? Tell me, is it fun? Is it fun? Tell me, is it fun? Is it fun? I don't see how this is fun for you. Tell me, is it fun? Is it fun? Walk out the door in my little black dress. Been a long day and I need to de-stress. Sun sets behind downtown skyline. My headphones on, play my favorite song. Turn the volume up all the way on my phone. Pulsing concrete under my feet. City is my club tonight. Hips way under traffic lights. Street talk, no neon bright. It's a dance floor in moonlight. New age and life can get crazy. I just sit away like whoa, oh, no. If I'm too serious then I might go crazy. I just sit away like whoa, oh, no. Turn up the radio, I let it go. Turn up the radio, oh, oh. Turn up the radio, I let it go. Turn up the radio, oh, oh. Walk down the street and I move to the snare. Throw my hands up to the bass like a prayer. Stars shine behind downtown skyline. Don't overthink tonight, just gonna dance. Fall for the rhythm, a sonic romance. Pulsing concrete under my feet. City is my club tonight. Hips way under traffic lights. Street talk, no neon bright. It's a dance floor in moonlight. New age and life can get crazy. I just sit away like whoa, oh, no. If I'm too serious then I might go crazy. I just sit away like whoa, oh, no. Turn up the radio, I let it go. Turn up the radio, oh, oh. Turn up the radio, I let it go. Turn up the radio, oh, oh. Tie the laces tight on my sneakers. Sync my heartbeat up with the speakers. Tie the laces tight on my sneakers. Sync my heartbeat up with the speakers. Tie the laces tight on my sneakers. Sync my heartbeat up with the speakers. Tie the laces tight on my sneakers. Sync my heartbeat up with the speakers. New age and life can get crazy. I just sit away like whoa, oh, no. If I'm too serious then I might go crazy. I just sit away like whoa, oh, no. Turn up the radio, I let it go. Turn up the radio, oh, oh. Turn up the radio, I let it go. Turn up the radio, oh, oh. Keep it moving, yeah, yeah. Just keep pushing, nah, nah, nah. Keep it moving, yeah, yeah. Keep it moving, yeah, yeah. Just keep pushing, nah, nah, nah. Keep it moving, yeah, yeah.
I believe that this nation should commit itself to achieving the goal before this decade is out of landing a man on the moon and returning him safely to the earth.
so innocent. I'm just like a little kid. Oh, won't you please protect me? I think that's why he liked me. I think that's why he liked me too. 'Cause I don't know what I need. Oh, but I think just maybe I actually have a brain of my own with which to think. I don't think that I'm crazy, and I don't think I'm that amazing, but I will let you believe that. If you're needing that, oh, if you need something to believe about me, if you need something to keep without me, without me, without me, without me. Oh, I apologize for cutting you off from a life I have not been able to be. I've been getting sewn to the bed, I've been getting painted red and shipped out to sea. Still don't think time was wasted. Started arguments when you were wasted. You were needing that. You were needing that. Oh, if you need something to believe about me, if you need something to keep without me, without me, without me, without me. You need something to believe about me, if you need something to keep